Singer-songwriter Regina Belle scaled the charts in the 80s and 90s with a voice so powerful that it allowed her to excel in many different genres, including R&B, pop, jazz, and gospel. Then a major medical crisis threatened to destroy everything: her gift, her faith, and her entire life. Regina was born on July 17, 1963, in Englewood, New Jersey, the oldest of 2 children in a tight-knit family. She and her brother Bernard were provided for by her mother, who worked as a meat wrapper, and her father, who was a truck driver. While the family may not have had a lot of money for fancy outings, church was the one place they could all come together. It would be in the house of God that Regina began singing at the age of 3 and performed her first solo at age 8 in Friendship Baptist Church in New Jersey, pastored by her uncle, the late Dr. Fred M. Bell Jr. In addition to the gospel music she heard there every week, she also developed a love for R&B music, particularly the Emotions and the Jones Girls. Regina's musical talents didn't end with her vocal abilities. She learned to play several music instruments, including trombone, tuba, and steel drums. Although having received a full scholarship to attend Manhattan School of Music, she opted to aim her sights on the elite Rutgers University, majoring in Africana Studies. She also joined several music ensembles where her singing talent quickly became evident to anyone who was around to hear her. Then, in her final year, she became very concerned. She had no idea what she was going to do with her life after she graduated. Enter Gerald Alston and Winfred Blue Lovett, lead singers of popular R&B group The Manhattans. They offered her a gig singing with them on tour. The catch was that she had to go now. So obviously that meant dropping out of school. Regina decided to go for it. Her work with the group didn't just extend to the stage. She also got into the recording studio with them on a duet called Where Did We Go Wrong?, a track off their 1986 album, Back to Basics. Eventually, Regina's work with the Manhattans caught the attention of Columbia Records, and they signed her right away. Her debut album, All By Myself, dropped in 1987. It includes her first top 5 R&B hit, Show Me the Way, as well as So Many Tears, that made it to number 11. In the same year, Regina recorded her first successful duet with R&B soul singer Peabo Bryson, called Without You. The song was the love theme from the comedy film Leonard Part 6, and is also included on Peabo's 1988 album, Positive. It became Regina's first single to appear in 4 charts: the Hot 100, Hot R&B Hip-Hop Songs, Adult Contemporary, and the UK Singles Chart. Her success on the charts, though, wasn't being reflected in her bank account. While on tour, Regina quickly realized that she was only making enough money to pay the band. Things got worse when, after coming off the tour, she returned home to find an eviction notice. So she began moonlighting, doing session work in New York. Thankfully, she wouldn't have to do it for long, following the success of her next project. Her second album, Stay With Me, released in 1989, would go gold and feature 5 top 10 R&B hits, including Baby Come To Me and Make It Like It Was, both of which went to number 1.
Baby, come to me, 'cause I love you. Make it like it was, the way it used to be.
Behind the music, Regina's romantic ballads weren't doing her any favors in her own love life. She'd already had a brief marriage to saxophonist and flute player Horace Alexander Young that recently ended. Now she was in another relationship that wasn't going well either, and it drove her to drink. In her 2018 Unsung episode, she recalled being in a hotel room and downing an entire bottle of Hennessy. It didn't even give her a buzz. She said at that moment she heard a small voice say that if she didn't stop then, she would need to go to something stronger. She believed it was God speaking to her. She made the decision then and there never to drink again. Then things finally started looking up for her in the love department. Over the years, she'd kept in touch with former NBA player John Battle after they met while attending Rutgers. After spending more and more time together, their friendship turned romantic, culminating with them getting married in 1991. In early 1993, she dropped her next album titled Passion. It features another collab with Peabo on the Disney hit A Whole New World from the animated feature film Aladdin. Peabo also included it on his 1994 album Through the Fire. It became both artists' biggest pop hit, going all the way to number 1 on the Hot 100, knocking off Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, which had spent a then record 14 weeks at the top of the chart. The song was also nominated for Grammys for Record of the Year and Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals. They won the latter. Regina's last top 10 R&B hit to date, If I Could, was also included on the Passion album, helping it go gold. At this point in her personal life, things looked great for Regina. Her and John were raising 3 adopted children. The decision to adopt, though, came out of Regina's inability to carry their own child to term. She'd suffered several miscarriages, and over time, it began to put a strain on the marriage. However, the couple stayed strong, dealt with their issues, and even went on to have 2 more biological children. Regina went back into the studio and came out with 1995's Reachin' Back. Unfortunately, it didn't produce any hits, and as a result, she was dropped from Columbia. Over the next decade, she released 3 more albums, but none gave her the chart success she'd previously enjoyed. Then, in 2008, after hearing God speak to her yet again, she released her first gospel album, Love Forever Shines. The track God Is Good, written by her brother, shot to number 2 on the gospel chart. While on tour the following year, basking in her newfound success, Regina began suffering from nagging headaches. She was later diagnosed with a brain tumor and underwent 2 surgeries. The tumor ended up being benign, but the toll the experience took on her was devastating. Also, the doctors didn't know if or how her singing ability would be affected. She ultimately lost all hearing in one of her ears, but underwent intense rehab in an effort to make it back to the stage. Regina released 2 more albums, the gospel effort Higher in 2012, and her first R&B album in 15 years, The Day Life Began, in 2016. 30 years after leaving Rutgers, Regina started taking online courses, which earned her bachelor's degree in Africana Studies and a minor in music. She finally got to walk the stage to accept it in 2015. In 2022, Regina released her first ever Christmas album, My Colorful Christmas, on her own label, Tashi 3 Entertainment. The effort is a family affair filled with Christmas classics such as The First Noel and Silent Night, in addition to a new composition she co-wrote with her brother called I Had to Leave, a song from Bernie. In addition, Regina's daughters, Sydney and Nyla, are vocalists on the album, son Jalen on drums, niece Jana is a backing vocalist, while nephew Jamel is producing and playing drums as well. Today, Regina and her husband John reside in Atlanta, Georgia. He's now a senior pastor of 2 churches, New Shield of Faith Worship Center in Atlanta and Spread the Word Ministries in College Park. Regina is there working alongside of him as an ordained minister, first servant, and minister of music. As she eloquently put it in her Unsung episode, "We're not here just for us. What we're here is hopefully to make an impression on somebody, to live better, to dream big, to reach high."